New Lakshmi Jewelers, a source of elegance and beauty, sponsors New Horizon.
वेलकम ब्याक। तपाईहरुलाई कार्यक्रममा फेरि स्वागत छ। साहब वाउ 25 वर्षपछि भेट भयो अनि आज पर्टिकुलरली दर्शकहरूले पनि देखिसक्नु भएको छ। तपाईले आरजीआर को टाई लाउनु भएको छ अनि तपाईको ब्लेजर आरजीआर ब्लेजर को कलर ब्लेजर हो त्यो बेलाकै। सो एज तपाईं यसमै आउनुहुन्छ भनेर मेरो पक्का मलाई थाहा थियो र मैले 25 वर्ष अगाडिको टाई 1997 तपाईं रिक्रुट कम्पनीको ओसी हुनुहुन्थ्यो। 1997 पछि मैले यो पहिलो पटक लगाएको हो किनकि सिन्स देन रिक्रुटको अब पल्टनमा गएपछि आफ्नै टाई हुन्थ्यो। मैले लगाएको थिएन तर मैले साँचेर राखेको थिएँ एन्ड आज मैले लगाएँ साहब। So as the मेरो पल्टनको ब्लेजर हो यो। एनीवे साहब नाइस टु हैव यू इन द शो। अब अलिकति गोर्खालीको कुरा गर्दाखेरि हिस्ट्री धेरै पछाडी जान्छ अनि पिक्चरमा अहिले देखिराखेको छ अलिकति फरक। मलाई कन्भिन्स पनि भएन कि युनिफर्म अलिकति फरक किसिमको छ। स्कटिश जस्तो पनि देख्छ युनिफर्म अनि यहाँनिर को उनीहरुको हातमा खुकुरी पनि छ मैले देख्छु। एउटा हातमा खुकुरी छ अर्को हातमा बन्दुक छ। चार्ज गरिरहेको छ यिनीहरु गोर्खाली नै हो सर? मलाई थाहा भएन। Can you please explain about यो लडाई यो क्षण कहाँ हो अनि कसरी भयो?
All right. त्यतिखेर त्यो तुम्हारा थाहा छ 18-15 सालदेखि ब्रिटिश आर्मीले गोर्खाली पल्टन बनायो। ब्रिटिश इन्डियन आर्मी गोर्खाली पल्टन बनायो raised by Indian Mutiny ma 1857 ma जो कोही Indian battalions ma जो विरुद्ध थियो mutiny भयो अनि हाम्रो गोर्खाली पल्टन त्यतिखेर तिनवटा गोर्खाली पल्टन थियो। Sirmur Pulton, which is this one, and the later the first Gurkhas and later the third Gurkhas, but they weren't called Gurkhas then, they were simply called the Sirmur Gurkha Battalion, second Gurkhas, because Bilas Sirmur didn't have to go depot to Sirmur, India. The uniform for the time, Tetigara is correct. The white topi chaps are British, they are the 60th Rifles. The others are Hamro Gurkhas. It's important because when the mutiny broke out, the Gurkhas were the first non-British troops to take on the mutineers.
Wow.
And of course, a lot of the British didn't know which way just like Gokhale Haula Chinsal, they knew the Gurkhas would remain loyal. Those that did not know Gurkhas weren't sure which way will the Gurkhas go. Will the Gurkhas go with the mutineers or will they stick with the British? And of course, they stuck with the British. Rajbakti, Mansi Teni. So they stuck. And that was important. So Indian Mutiny Sakera, disloyal Palt on the road, just like Mutiny Baya, disband. And the Rajbakta battalions, of course, were expanded. So we now have more Gurkha battalions. We end up with Doswata regiments, Harik, two battalions with each, so 20 battalions, Beast Battalion of Gurkhas. So the mutiny is important. You'll notice that the Goras, the Seto Topi Lagani Wallace, have Lale on their collar, on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And when the mutiny was over, the 60th Rifles, Gora Palton, petitioned. They said to the Governor General, Hamro Bishar, जो गोखाले पाल्टन हाम्रो युनिफर्म लगाउनु पर्यो किनभने हामी दिल्ली रिजमा हामी छाउछाउमा बसेको and तिनीहरु हाम्रो पक्का साथीहरु थियो, we would like them to wear the same uniform. So from then the Sirmur battalion started wearing the same uniform. which is where the lolly comes from. Now, later on, Sirmo Gorkha Battalion became the 2nd Gorkhas.
Yeah.
Lolly pani lagaya.
Still that red stripe is there.
So RGR ayo, when 2GR, 6GR, 7GR, 10GR Jamagoreko, RGR lai Banauni, the lolly came to RGR. And it's important. It's part of our history.
Wow. Just brilliant. And your लडाई कहाँको थियो साहब?
That is actually Delhi.
Delhi.
That's Delhi Ridge.
Wow.
So the mutineers were in Delhi itself, Old Delhi. The British eventually, the Gurkhas attacked the ridge, captured the ridge, and then the British were on the ridge, overlooking Delhi.
Yeah. Against को?
Against mutiny Indians.
I see. Yeah, you keep saying mutiny, but then the against the mutiny को जो थियो. अनि त्यसमा I see. So wow. अनि this is just brilliant. यहाँनिर मारामार क्लोज के अरे फाइट भइरहेको छ हैन क्लोज कम्ब्याट भइरहेछ खुकुरी ड्रो एन्ड देन या वाउ तपाईको यो पिक्चर द ग्रेट गेम को उबाट आएछ हैन
Yes, I mean,
तपाईले यसको कुरा गर्नु भएछ ग्रेट गेम
not really part of the great game at the time the mutineers artillery was very good.
Yeah,
so people thought it must be Russians must be teaching them. In fact, there weren't any Russians, but people thought there were.
I see.
Because then the big worry was Russia. If Russia came further and further south,
then
and into Afghanistan, then India,
yeah,
and that was the worry then.
Okay. So, अब हामी यसलाई यहाँ छोडेर नेक्स्ट क्वेशन्स मेरो हजुरलाई के छ भने योसँग लिङ्क हुन्छ नेक्स्ट क्वेशन गोर्खालीहरूको यो ब्रेभरी लङ उबाट हिस्ट्री आयो कुन बेला राइट कहिलेदेखि महारानी क्वीन एलिजाबेथले ओर्डरली अफिसर राख्न सुरु गर्नुभयो यसको कारण के थियो वाइ गोर्खाली orderly officer,
right,
not other officers?
Originally, Sabandha Paila, there were 4 jana. 2 jana Gokhale, 2 jana Aropaltan, side Rajput, Sikh, Maratha, Indian Army Bata. So 4 jana Aro. And that was from Unai Sunatin, 1903, King Edward VII. Because Queen Victoria Marihalsa was Kuchora, became Edward VII. And Edward VII Levansa, 4 jana officer, Indian Army Bata, Mero orderly officers, ceremonial. So there were always 4 jana. 2 jana were Gokhale, and the other 2 were from anywhere. Then India ko Hindi Pindi Goya, 1947. So it came down to 2 Gokhale. So we kept.
So it was long before Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, long before Queen Elizabeth. Yes.
Wow.
Now let me think. It was Edward VII, then George V, then George VI, then Elizabeth. So a long time. Yes. Yes, long time.
Wow. And यसको main reason के थियो sir?
The main reason, I think, was to show a connection between the monarchy and India, actually, really, then.
And maybe trust.
Yeah, so show that as well.
The trusted guards.
Yeah.
The most trusted.
And they, on every ceremonial occasion, they were with the king or queen. And today, as you know, Koya investiture Hobade, they are always with the queen. They're either side of her.
It has been really taken lightly, maybe. हामीले बाहिर अहिले देख्छौं हैन साधारण कुरा जस्तो लाग्छ लाहुरे and आर्मीमा गोर्खालीहरु. But then ब्रिटिश राजमा गोर्खालीहरुलाई यति सारो ट्रस्ट गरिएको छ कि महारानी महाराजा यहाँको रोयल्सहरुको guards, personal guards pani, not only premises guard,
personal,
but then personal guard as well as मुख्य जुन एउटा ट्रस्ट गर्न सकिने जो साँचो होल्ड गर्ने मान्छे पनि गोर्खाली छ. दर्शकवृन्द यो हाम्रो नेपालीहरुको लागि हाम्रो गोर्खालीहरुको लागि एकदम ठुलो प्राउड को कुरा हो. None other people have this honor हैन साहब.
तर public लाई अलिकति Alamalateos Kali. How many public duties got the carry Buckingham Palace? You're a tourist like Malasora, Kina Japani, like Maharani, like God. We are not Japanese. I'm a Japani, I'm a Kali. This is different.
वाउ
So,
सर अब अलिकति स्विच भयो ब्याक एन्ड फोर्थ भइराखेको
ठिक
छ यो orderमा छैन यो तपाईको जुन वेस्टर्न फ्रन्टको मैले यो डेटाबेस यहाँ किन राखेँ भन्दा यसको रिजन छ हैन तपाईले देखिहाल्नुभयो कि यु रोड दिस एन्ड देन तपाईले ब्रिफिङमा वेबिनारमा तपाईले भन्नुभएको छ द इन्डियन आर्मी अन द वेस्टर्न फ्रन्टको यो उ हो अनि यसमा सबभन्दा टपमा गोर्खालीहरूको संख्या देखिन्छ पल्टनको दिस इज कम्पनी
this is by company.
24 वटा कम्पनी ग्राफमा पनि देखिएको छ मैले इन्सेटमा राखेको छु then you are briefing there on top right and side. So, can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yes, the Indian Army sent Dvita Division, Indian Army Bata, France Ma'ayo, 1914, First World War, Shura Gona Banda Gari. British Army taking care of Siano, and it was Dunyako Wadipadi. So reinforcement Kambarayo. Naya British Battalion Utaya Bani time Lagsa, training on Laya Jadi. Your TA Banit, your reserve party Laya Banit, reserve corps Samanaru Tiktanas, you re-equip them, retrain them, blah blah blah. So Kambara reinforcement panzer. India. India was a regular army. British Army could just it was the same size as the British Army, slightly smaller, but the same size roughly. And the Indian Army was a regular, all volunteer, properly trained army. So 2 divisions. Originally, 1 division went to Persia to guard the oil, because the British owned the oil in Persia.
Wow.
2 divisions came to the Western Front to fight the Germans. And as you know, Tabandatatsa, Indian Army called Dvita Kalko Paltanteo. There was the class company regiment, which meant Site Dvita Company, Sikh, Dvita Company, Rajput, Dvita Company, Punjabi, Muslim, and Dvita Company, Dogra just now, because Tetikera, Indian Army had 8 companies, 8 small companies. British Army could Charota, big companies. And then Indian Army lay Western Front of Potakere, reorganization Hunapotsa, at Siano Company, Deccan, Charota, Tula Company. So that was the class company regiment. And then there were class regiments, which meant that Pura Paltan was Yota Dijat. So all Sikhs, all Gokhalis or whatever. Now Gokhali Paltan were all Gurkhas. No difference. Way back in our history, 42nd Gurkha Rifles, Bachi became 6th Gurkha Rifles, they had 2 Sikh companies and 6 Gokhali companies. But now, First World War time, Gurkha Paltan, all Gokhali. Sikhs were all over so there are 17.5 companies of those. Punjabi Musliman, now they were good chaps, the Punjabi Muslims.
Yes.
So when people say, all Muslims are terrorists, no, they're not.
No.
A lot of Muslims fought for us.
You mentioned
in the
this
First War and
in
the
your
Second
webinar
War.
as well, Sab. Thank you.
And the First and Second War. Problems with Pathans. Desertion.
Yeah.
Nobody deserted from the Indian Army except the Pathans. And they would, if they took a rifle into the tribal territories or if in Afghanistan, Yo bunduk kulage charota, char barsa ko paisa, bonusaksa. So there's a lot of desertion. On the Western Front, the only desertions from the 2 Indian divisions were Pathans who went to the Germans. And what the British then did was said, right, Timragan Bata Kaili Pani Hami recruit Landana.
Wow.
That's your punishment.
So 24 companies of Gurkhas त्यति बेला अनि यसलाई मलाई यो कहाँ लिंक गर्न मन लाग्यो भने I've been to a couple of battlefield tour when I was in Germany. So म UK बाट पनि before म अफगानिस्तान जानु भन्दा अगाडि ट्रेनिङ को लागि कोर्स गर्नलाई म इटली गयो 2 पटक गए इटली. But the first time इटली जाँदाखेरि I got chance त्यो एउटा mid weekend मा छुट्टी थियो. Then I asked one of the lad over there who used to work in kitchen and मैले उलाई सोधे कि यहाँ घुम्न जाने ठाउँ कहाँ छ. Then म नेटो स्कुल लटिनामा थियो अनि उले भन्यो तिमी Monte Cassino जाऊ.
Yeah, Cassino.
तिमी गोर्खाली हो?
Yeah, Cassino.
तिमी Cassino जाऊ.
Yeah.
And I was like, what Cassino? Game खेल्ने Cassino हो? अनि उसले भने नो 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 गेम खेल्ने केसिनो होइन बाजी खेल्ने होइन त माउन्ट केसिनो त्यो माउन्टेनको नाम हो त्यहाँ तिम्रो बाजे बराजुहरूले तिम्रो ग्रान्ड ड्याडहरूले लडाइँ गरेर त्यो डाँडा कब्जा गरेको थियो सो यु फाइन्ड द्याट हिस्ट्री भेरी अमेजिङ यु गो द्याट
You look at it.
I was like, what? I didn't know. An Italian tells me, go there, find your history. I was like, yes. I straight away catch the train from the Tina station to Rome and then all the way to Monte
Cassino, yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. That journey was like, for me was so full of excitement. When do I get there? What do I see? And when I got top of the hill, त्यहाँ डाँडाको त्यो उ थियो क्यासल भन्ने के भन्ने डाँडामा थियो द्याट वाज कम्प्लिटली डिस्ट्रोयड वारमा होइन सर टु द ग्राउन्ड अनि त्यसको पिक्चरहरू थियो ब्ल्याक एन्ड व्हाइट पिक्चर अनि त्यहाँनिर भिडियो चाहिँ कन्टिन्यू राउन्ड उमा लुपमा लगाइराखेको हुन्थ्यो अनि मैले त्यहाँ देख्छु द एक्चुअल एकदमै फेमस एउटा पिक्चर छ त्यति बेलाको कि डाँडामा गोर्खालीहरूले रिज लाइनमा छ प्रष्ट देखिँदैन बट देन खुकुरी लिएर डाँडामा यसरी गएको थियो सो आई वाज सो इमोसनल एज वेल एन्ड देन त्यो घुमिरहेको थियो अनि सो मेनी गोर्खालीहरूको जुन त्यो लेगेसी त्यो लडाइँमा त्यो डाँडा कब्जा गर्दाको एन्ड दे टुक द हिल अनि त्यो त्यहाँ थियो साहब एन्ड आई वाज त्यसपछि म उमा गयो सिमेट्रीमा गएँ देन आई काउन्टेड there were 207 cemetery the tombstone थियो and each stone ma त्यो गोर्खालीहरुको नाम थियो but I want to come here very interesting story के थियो is first row मा नै first त्यो tombstone मा लेखेको थियो कि ब्रिटिश नाम थियो मे ब्रिटिश अफिसर हुनुहुँदो रहेछ but he was known as Gurkha त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ गोर्खाली भनेर लेखेको थियो बट ब्रिटिस अफिसरको नाम थियो एन्ड आई वाज त्यतिन्जेल मलाई थाहा थिएन बट उनीहरू जब गोर्खाली पल्टनमा सर्भ हुन्छ दे नन एज गर्खस मलाई थाहा थिएन अमेजिङ देन आई वेन्ट टु द एक्चुअल त्यो स्टोनमा त्यो लेखिएको नामहरू थियो साहब त्यहाँनिर मेमोरियलमा एन्ड आई फाउन्ड माई फादर्स नेम But actually, मेरो फादर डाई भएको थिएन मेरो फादर अलाइभ थियो तर त्यो कर्णबहादुर सुनुवार थियो still नाम but it wasn't somebody else it was so touching story and
I mean it was like Hong Kong Mahundakere when the military police said or Kai Tak Airport Magoya Bani Rifleman Gurung come to the desk Kun Rifleman Gurung Hammer Tinso Ton so which one so yes you will find the same names but I mean Cassino the first 9th which were a Chetri bound battalion, still are, they captured Hangman's Hill, which is just short of the monastery. They did very well. 7th Gurkhas were there, 2nd Gurkhas were there, a lot of Gurkhas on that particular battle. There were 4 battles of Monte Cassino.
Wow.
4. The first one was an American one, failed by her. So the British were called across, one of the Indian divisions were sent across to help them. Second and third were very much Gurkha battles, and the fourth eventually. And the fourth they took it. But and of course, Tavanle Katidere Chihan Kotan Teknabaya. But of course, as you know, Koiko Jat Chihan Marakne Aro Jilanse. So there are a lot of cremations as well. As well as the ones you.
Of course, not 207 only.
So there were a lot more than that.
Yeah, a lot. And त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ त्यो थियो and I was so emotional there. I counted and then I went to the memorials मा लेखिएको नाम. The memorials मा stone मा लेखिएको नाम was like full of like Sikhs and Muslims and Pathans and you name it, all of them and Gurkhas all together one place मा किनकि त्यो Indian British Indian Pulton थियो अनि full of Gurkhas and all that. And so as त्यो भयो Monte Cassino and त्यसपछि Belgium मा हैन सर बेल्जियमको वाउ अब त्यहाँनिर मेरो एलएसएनजीसी पनि मैले त्यहाँ लिएको हो सर सो वाउ त्यो ब्याटलफिल्ड टुरहरुमा अब तपाईले सिपोय अफ द ट्रेन्च लेख्नुभयो त्यसमा चाहिँ ट्रेन्च वारको उमा पनि हामी गयौं अनि वी गट इन्टु द ट्रेन्च
New Lakshmi Jewelers, a source of elegance and beauty, sponsors New Horizon. उत्कृष्ट र भरपर्दो गहनाको लागि अवश्य सम्झनुहोस् न्यू लक्ष्मी ज्वेलर्स, एपिटमी अफ ब्युटी।
साहब, अब कार्यक्रमको अन्तिममा आइपुग्यौँ हामी पक्षमा। सो अब म कुरा कहाँबाट सुरु गर्न चाहेँ अब यो भागमा भने जुन यो गोर्खाली पल्टनमा गोर्खासहरू भर्ती हुँदाखेरि मेजोरिटी अफ पिपलहरू हेर्दाखेरि चाहे फ्रम हिल्स लिइन्छ, हिल्सको मान्छे मात्र लिइन्छ धेरै, अनि मेजोरिटी अफ त्यही छ। अनि यसमा चाहिँ राई गुरुङ शेर्पा, सुनुवार लिम्बू, मगर्स गुरुङ्स, वाइ उनीहरू
एउटा पुरानो अङ्ग्रेजी उखानले भन्छ कोही चिज भत्काएको छैन भने किन मर्मत दिने? And if it's not broke, don't fix it. And पहिला देखि त्यही जातहरू हाम्रो लागि
लोयल थियो,
लडे. Now it is now changed because Nepal government, अनि मेरो विषयमा ठिक कुरा हो, नेपाल सरकारले भन्छ सबैलाई, so जात नगर्ने सबैलाई. So हाम्रो अहिलेको रुल छ जुनले पास गर्न सक्छ भने सिलेक्सन ठिक छ इन. न तपाईँलाई थाहा छ तपाईँको पार्टी बेलनमा we had 40,000 केटाहरू. 40,000.
We didn't know that.
And हामी 160 मात्रै.
Only 160.
Wow, 160 only. So यदि बाहुन पास गर्न सक्छ भने okay. But of course उसलाई थाहा हुनुपर्छ कि आर्मीमा you've got to adapt.
Yeah.
Now of course गुरुङ मगर राई लिम्बू इत्यादि तिनीहरूको adapt गर्न सक्छ किनभने तिनीहरूको uncle, baji, bao, whoever.
The culture.
Paila, yeah, the culture. So they don't have a problem. Now of course recruiting bounds. Now Paila first ninth Gurkhas were all bounds, and they were Saramar Palton too. I mean Lorraine was Saramar. They did very well in the Second World War.
Very clever people, sir.
Yeah, they were very good. And of course, when Indian independence came, 9th Gurkhas went to India. But if he is prepared to adapt, if he realizes that, sorry, you'll have to wear Gai Kochala, and all that sort of thing, then why not?
As being Gurkhali lover and a Gurkhali hamro mero bhannunhuncha tapaile sadai, what kind of advice do you want to give to the young soldiers, Gurkha soldiers, and the Gurujis and Sahabs? अब ब्रिटिश आर्मीमा गोर्खालीहरूको सिपाही, गोर्खाली सिपाही कस्तो हुनुपर्छ? To all of us.
I think मेरो पहिला would be मैले तपाईँहरूले भनेको, I think, really. तिम्रोको बाउको इज्जत नफाल. Don't throw your father's honor away, remember it. And गोर्खाली कायदा मान्नु पर्यो. Of course adapt गर्न सक्छ, of course modernize गर्न सक्छ, but you are always Gurkhali. If you forget being Gurkhali, you're finished. Maintain the qaida. Don't throw your father's honor away. Aile hamro jandi ekdam mate chani त्यो brigade of Gurkhas को जन्दी वहाँ टपमा छ. किन टपमा? किनभने तपाईँहरूले तपाईँ गोर्खाली पाल्छन् सबै, not just RGR but the course, well, all of them.
Yeah.
There no कोही सक्दैन मेरो मनमा Sub-banda Ramra British Army ma Gokali. No doubt. Everything they do. In terms of training, of discipline, of retention, operational skills at Yadi. Maintain that. Don't try to be little Englishmen. That's always the danger, you know. But
why is that danger, Sab? Can you elaborate it a little bit?
Because if you try to be a little Englishman, you'll never be as good as an Englishman. It's like if I tried to be a Gurkha, I'd never be as good as a Gurkha.
That is already a high risk, Sab.
It is a risk. With the Nani Haru. Of course, I accept it in this country, of course, the Hamra Gokali Nani Haru, the British school Majansa, Angrezi Kura Hunuportsa. So if it's Nepali at home, Angrezi at school, Hunsa. But of course, they will join the British Army, the Gora Army. They can't join the Gokha Battalion because they would have to go back to Nepal. And we've got to maintain that. I think we should maintain only recruiting from Nepal and the same selection, Aile Kupani selection. Because how else do you select 200, 300, 400 from thousands and thousands?
Yeah.
Those Charlies Hazar, Yadi British Army joined by a Bane, they would all get in. They would all get in. We are an elite. Hami Brigade of Gurkhas, British Army, Hami elite. We are an elite. So, after Bauko is at Nafal and Kaida, Gokali Kaida, Manuporta.
Thank you, sir.
Yadi Gore Bane, Hamro future talk.
It is very important that Hami कहाँबाट आयो कहिले पनि नभुल्नु भन्ने जुन वर्ड थियो हामीलाई कसम खाँदा पनि त्यो स्पीचमा जनरलले भन्नुभएको थियो बट देन त्यति बेला बुझेन हाम्रो त्यति सारो वाइज रहेनछ कुरा बुझेन कहिले पनि नभुल्नु कहाँबाट आयो भनेर बट देन यो त नट ओन्ली नेपालीको होइन गोर्खालीलाई मात्र भनेको होइन यो अंग्रेजीमा पनि छ अंग्रेजको उमा पनि छ यो भनाइ छ कि never forget your root.
Exactly.
यो त not only to Gurkhas, not only to Nepalese, everybody. संसारमा जहाँ गए पनि एउटा कुरा मैले के पत्ता लगाएँ. Why I related with that is that कि wherever we go, people ask you anyway, they will identify you, you are not one of us. They will ask you what is your name, where you from, because they know you're not one of us, they will say. And then they will ask, what is your name, where you come from? And you have to have something there that you want to tell them. You have to tell them. Otherwise, you know, you have got nothing. You're empty.
If as long as they know...
I interpret it that way too, sir.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, British public command ma Gokhali Ramasa. So they like the Gurkhas. There is racism in our society, there is no doubt.
No, any society, sir.
Any society. But it's not directed at Gurkhas, fortunately.
No.
The only thing I would worry about was if a Gurkha actually went off the rails. That would not be good for our name. But Aili Sama, fingers crossed. Hamro Nam Ram.
Ekdam Ramro sir. And don't get me wrong, the young lads are doing really well. They have got this is double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But राम्रो गर्नेहरुको लागि झनै राम्रो छ because अंग्रेजी skill पढाइ आजको technology everything हाम्रो गोर्खाली सोल्जरहरुले प्रुभ गरिसके कि गरा पल्टनमा गएर पनि आफ्नो स्केलहरु आफ्नो पढाइको इन्टेलिजेन्स सबै कुराहरु देखाएर अगाडि आएर स्पीच दिन सकिरहेछ ठुलो ठुलो ठाउँमा गएर ठुलो ठुलो कोर्सेसहरु गर्न सकिएको छ क्वालिफिकेसन लिन सकिएको छ युनिभर्सिटीज एन्ड अल दैट यु नेम इट डक्टरेट गरिसक्यो इन द आर्मी मा हुँदै डक्टरेट गरिसक्यो हाम्रो गोर्खालीहरुले सो अफ कोर्स अब यङहरुलाई पनि त्यही मेसेज छ कि हाउ यु गोना एम्प्लॉय और implement your knowledge. And if you don't forget what you just said, Sable, you don't forget where you come from, your culture, your tradition and all that. On top, you have got what we never had, which is education and that intelligence. Guys, absolutely.
Well, you had
Marvelous.
intelligence. This was paila how many power bata matre recruit Gurkha. I think Azabuli probably half ada matre baka par ko ketaharo bankio from Daran or Pokhara or whatever. Kinabani, the Burra party lay Tolagoyo for hospital, school, ejadi. Well, that's all right. That doesn't matter. They're just as good. They were always intelligent. Paila education tiana, but intelligent tio. They were intelligent. Education tiana and a parma ponusakya.
Okay.
So in the army they learned. But for example, the Gokhalile will adapt. Kunaitan Magoyabani Ulibansa right. Yo Habichulan Saksa, Yo Chilan Saksa, Amichulan Tandaina. For example, Gulf Warmer, Tamana Tansa, Tamanka Palton Kubishema. Gulf Warmer, satellite communication, Iraq Bata UK ma.
Yes.
To enciphered, encoded satellite communication. Only the Gurkha signals had
Yes.
people who could do it. I know.
Yeah. They were trusted in Rawal signals.
Only Gurkha signals could do it. They couldn't find a British unit to do it, who had enough knowledge to do it.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you very much. And it's so proud that गोर्खालीहरूले आजको मोडर्न टेक्नोलोजीमा रल सिग्नल्स पल्टनमा अनि नयाँ टेक्नोलोजी नयाँ इक्विपमेन्टहरूसँग उनीहरूले खेलिरहेछ दे वर ट्रस्टेड गिभन क्रिप्टोग्राफिक मैले आफैले त्यो फिल्डमा धेरै स्टडी गरेँ म आफैले मेरो सर्भिस पनि भयो वी आर ट्रस्टेड फर द्याट एन्ड
UK eyes only does not apply to Gurkhas. It's the only people it doesn't apply
it was
to. You know the UK eyes only.
Yes, it was. And
really it was, but it's not changed. Gurkhas are allowed to look at UK eyes only.
And we only पछि मैले डेभलपमेन्ट भेटिङ पायो अनि I was throughout मेरो सर्भिसको धेरै काम मैले त्यसरी गरेँ अनि एनीवे सर यस अफ कोर्स सो अन्तमा साहब I'm so curious that you have actually planted the seed. तपाईले गोर्खालीको हिस्ट्रीमा एउटा ठुलो एउटा माइलस्टोन तपाईले खडा गरेर गोर्खालीको हिस्ट्रीलाई फर्स्ट एन्ड सेकेन्ड वर्ल्ड वारमा यिनीहरूको इन्भल्भमेन्ट र यिनीहरूको लेगेसी देखाउनु भयो पिक्चरमा एज वेल एज बुकमा त आई वाज वन्डरिङ एकदमै थोरै मुभीहरू बनेको छ गोर्खालीहरूको बारेमा अब हलिउडले पनि मेरो विचारमा कोसिस गर्नेछ भेरी इन्ट्रेस्टिङ स्टोरीहरू छ सो एज द ब्रिटिस फिल्म मेकर्स अहिले ब्रिटिस फिल्म मेकर्ससँग मिलेर हाम्रो गोर्खाली ले एउटा फिल्म बनाएको छ जो Gurkhas beneath the bravery.
To documentary हो कि
यो मुभी हो साहब यो बिग मुभी हो अब यो हुनु लागेको छ अस्ति प्रिमियर भयो यहाँ प्रिन्सेस हलमा अनि के छ भन्दा अनि नेपाली फिल्म इन्डस्ट्रीमा पनि अब गोर्खालीहरूको मुभी बनिरहेछ मिलन चान्सले बनाउँदैछ तर तपाई जस्तो हिस्टोरियन जसलाई इनसाइड आउट थाहा छ आर यु इन्ट्रेस्टेड टु मेक डकुमेन्ट्रिज and or bigger movie if you get associations
oh yeah certainly I mean I will certainly advise the Hollywood pilot there was a very good movie actually with Sean Connery called The Man Who Would Be King and this was about two Gora sergeants who took off to Afghanistan and were made kings local and there was one Gurkha who claimed to be I can't remember his name, but I think it was Rambara. Let's call him Rambara Gurung. He wasn't a Gurung. He wasn't even a Nepali. He was some very dubious Bengali. And he didn't look like a Gurkha at all. So if they're going to do it, I mean, movie Mabanaban, if it's going to be about Gurkhas, they must have Gurkha actors.
Yes.
Not Indians.
Yes.
They must be Gurkhas.
Yes.
Not about the middle of China.
Yeah. So त्यसो भए तपाई कसैले मुभी बनाउँछ भनेदेखि गोर्खालीको हिस्ट्री गोर्खालीको इनसाइड आउट कुरा गोर्खालीको कथा व्यथा एभ्रिथिङ हाम्रो करिगन साहबलाई थाहा छ उहाँको बुकहरू हेर्नुस् पढ्नुस् उहाँको डकुमेन्ट्रिजहरू अनि स्टडी गर्नुस् अनि म्यान हिमसेल्फ हियर फ्रम होर्सेस माउथ भनिन्छ जो आज हामीले सुन्न पायौँ यो हाम्रो ठुलो भाग्यको कुरा हो कि यस God blesses us हैन र साहबले पनि हामीलाई ब्लेसिङ दिनुभयो कि आज तपाई हाम्रो प्रोग्राममा आएर कि यति धेरै कुरा शेयर गर्नुभयो नलेज शेयर गर्नुभयो विजडमहरू बाँड्नुभयो। अब भविष्यमा कसैले मुभी बनाउन चाहन्छ भनेदेखि या डकुमेन्ट्री रियली के हो त त्यसको कथा, द म्यान हिमसेल्फ इज ओभर हियर, प्लिज कन्ट्याक्ट। नत्र हाम्रो प्रोग्रामको थ्रुबाट हामी त्यो गर्नेछौँ। त्यो एउटा मलाई एकदमै भन्न मन लागेको कुरा।
Thank you very much, Akash. तपाईँलाई देखेर 25 वर्षको बारे चाहिँ ठुलो प्लेजर, मलाई साह्रै खुसी लाग्छ। तपाईँ पहिलाको जस्तै नो चेन्ज तपाईँ।
साप पनि कहिल्यै चेन्ज भएको छैन।
मेरो बाल अहिले सेतो छ पहिला त्यो। Yeah, it's very good to see you.
Saab, just brilliant, Hazur. Thank you very much for coming to the show. And हाम्रो न्यू होराइजन यो टक सोबाट तपाईँलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Akash.
फेरि साहबसँग अर्को भेट हुने नै छ
Yeah.
भन्ने मलाई लाग्छ साहब।
अच्छा.
प्लिज साहब, थ्याङ्क यू भेरी मच फर
Thank you, and thank you, cameraman.
साहब, यो एउटा सानो मोमेन्ट हो, साहबलाई आइदिनु भयो अनि यो एउटा सम्झना हाम्रो सुनगाभा एन्टरटेनमेन्ट र न्यू होराइजनको टिमबाट तपाईँलाई एउटा सानो टोकन अफ लभ, प्लिज एक्सेप्ट इट।
Akash, that is very kind. Thank you very, very much indeed. That's wonderful.
Sir,
I shall
thank
treasure
you.
that.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's very good to see you.
Thank you,
After
sir.
all these years. Perhaps
Pleasure is ours, sir. Pleasure is mine. हजुर हो।
In fact, 25 वर्ष बन्द गरे।
New Lakshmi Jewelers, a source of elegance and beauty, sponsors New Horizon.